This is a little weird. It's a commentary on a past broadcast from my stream, and there's a reason why I'm doing this. I tried just exporting it to Twitch with the Twitch export to YouTube function when I uploaded my India against Mertens ports, but the problem was the music playing in that past broadcast actually got it banned in 8 countries. So I needed a way to to get my past broadcasts onto YouTube without music, and this seemed like the best way to do it. So this was my Otto against Killer's Eero in Cliffs, and Eclipse's German against Peisbert's out of Cliffs. And my score is so high because he sent Settlerwagons, Team Settlerwagons, which is a huge eco boost. And also I cowed, and I firmly believe that cowing is worth it. If you ever see me playing Otto without a cowing deck, it is because I'm being lazy, and I just don't feel like cowing that game. And it's true that cowing is not a requirement for autos like it is for Brits or Eero, but I feel like it's definitely a tangible advantage in that you should always include cowing in your deck. I feel like it's a solid 50-75 points at least. Like I feel like I'd never get this score 23-57 without cowing. Killer's score is just a little bit on the low side. I feel like it should be over 3k. Alright, so let's begin. Oh, I made like 5 horses and 8 coals in my start army. Because I felt like Corset was the only way to do anything to the Eero army, and obviously you need corps because of light cannons. Just look at this huge infantry mass. I felt like the only way to do any sort of damage whatsoever to it was with Horset, and you can see me microing the corps frantically. Like almost all my APM is focused on it. Although I did allocate enough to like the NAT and FBing that I have an adequate FB. And of course I'll do the rest later. So right now I'm hitting the Eero with hammering him with Husser, and that's what you want to do right after the start army, because before Eero has both Nats up, they have a weakness to Cav. Their anti-Cav isn't that good. I should be towering, which I am. Good. Yeah, towers are really good for autos because they complement Abyss guns really well. I should be queuing Colbs right now. You can't really snipe light cannons with Abyss, because look at this humongous infantry mass. It would just kill any Abyss before they even get close. So you actually need to Colv Eero with Otto. It's sad. Pai's meleeing his muskets here, which is good against my Huss spam. He's setting Pop to help me because if you were watching the mini-map earlier, Eclipse invaded their natives with his Ulans, so Pai had to send units to stop that, and then he just decided to send them to Killa. I feel like Killa's being slow producing units, and this light cannon positioning is also really bad. He should have pulled them back long ago, so I was just able to own them all with the combination of Abyss and Husser and 2 Colbs. And he should be queuing musket riders or tomahawks or something to kill my Hussars. Because before you have both Nats, you actually need some form of anti-cav. If you have both Nats, you might be able to get away with just using Huminka as your anti-cav, especially with that extra Nats code. I'm queuing a mortar here to kill his FB. Shouldn't make more than 1 or 2 as autos because they're already not pop efficient, so they can't afford to make like 3 or 4 mortars usually. He's just keeping his force prowler back. I would really like to see some anti-cav. If he had anti-cav, he'd actually be able to push. Let's look at all these units he has. And you saw me scroll over to the other fight. I saw Pi pushing, and it was a little concerning because he's awful close to my nat right now. It was a little concerning. I actually did 3 mortars. I actually don't like that of myself. That explorer should also run right into their army. Should not be mixed with Abyss. And we see Killa making some musket riders. I think he should have at least 10 right now, though. Although, he should have both nats right now, so... yeah. You should have those Humikas out soon. And we see more musket riders from Killa. Just what he needs right now, considering all my hussars. Where are his nats? He has both nats. Why isn't he using them? And yeah, I decided to send some natives over to my teammate because it looked like he was getting pushed in enough so that Pi could mortar my native. Losing a native as Otto is a huge deal. Sloppy micro for me. Yeah, you always want to make you should always want to make sure you have a shot loaded with corpse before you move into range of your enemy's corpse. They didn't fire there because they had fired like less than 6 seconds ago, so the shot was still reloading. And yeah, see, Killa's light cannon should be behind his force prowlers and musket riders. He's gonna lose like 15 light cannons for free. They're all clumped up, which is perfect, which means I'll get perfect shots off with my corpse. We finally see some natives from Killa, but he should have a full 32 natives hitting my army. And you might be thinking that spamming natives against Abyss is not a good idea, but first off, it's overpop. And second, with all the force prowlers behind it, it ends up being a cost-effective army, and also aeronats are much stronger than normal nats, so they can tank a lot more. Primary purpose of Humikas is tanking usually. Tanking for the high damage skirms, and that's why autos are so much better in natives than they are out of natives. Because they need Humikas to tank, because Abyss are high damage, low HP skirm by design. Like they're 2 pop, but they have the HP of a 1 pop skirm. I'm cowing after 40 because I spent 2 cards on it, so you want to make sure you get the most out of those. I don't like mantlets. I'd rather just invest that in force prowlers or tomahawks or whatever. The 32 Humikas of Eero plus the 20 Huron shipment is more than enough tanking in my opinion. And mantlets don't really serve any other use than to tank. He's keeping his natives back while I'm hussing him, which is not good. And Pi's mortaring my native. So I wanted to like do something to take care of his wet right flank, so he can't continue to do that, which is why I queued 2 mortars there. And I'm towering. Towering is like very important against Eero because light cannons, they're a really good unit, but they're no mortar. Like they don't do as much damage to buildings as mortars do, so towering is more effective against them than against other civs. And with that wall there, Pi can't even touch my mortars. I had my mortars in a really good position there. In fact, maybe that might actually be what stops Pi's push. Of course, the reaction Pi should make to those mortars is queuing a Corv to kill them, and then killing that wall with a mortar of his own. Yeah, the tower code is good for autos because, like I said, towers complement Abyss really well. Again, I'm not seeing as many natives out for Killa as he can make. You should always try to stay maxed on natives. There are very few exceptions to that rule. Like, and most of them involve lag. Most of the exceptions. Like, as a general rule, you should always be maxed on natives. Always. If it's no lag. Killa's keeping his natives back. What is he scared of? When he has like 70 forest prowlers to back his natives up. Killer needs to queue more light cannons to take care of my towers, or he could also ping it and ask Pi for a mortar. Mortaring would probably be really good here, because look how aggressively I'm towering. I could probably use some horse right here. Oh, I actually am queuing horse right. Because Abyss are not gonna win out against that humongous forest prowler mass. And the native shipments coming in for Eero. Like, if Killa was maxed on natives right now, he'd be, like, pushing me into my towers behind my FB. I wouldn't be able to, like... And I would just lose that position. If Killa were maxed on natives and constantly spamming them. Natives cost food and wood, by the latter of which does not become a problem for Eero until late game when all the trees run out, and the former of which is simply not a problem for Eero unless you delete 50 or more vills. Again, light cannon should be behind his force prowlers. Mantlet should be shoved up front. If I wanted to, I could easily kill all those light cannons by aiming my Abyss at them. I do not like his mantlet positioning right now. They should be shoved up front of his army to tank. Wow, the force powers behind them do and the light cannons do damage. And Killers has very poor native control. See those bolas standing behind his army just idle, and the Huminkas, which he's almost never using despite me constantly making Hus. Again, I think I could use some horse right here. Although, I guess I didn't need it. The towers were doing enough damage. And yeah, that's what I was talking about with like cannon positioning. You have to be especially careful against Otto, because Abyss actually do good damage to artillery. That should be taken care of in the treaty patch, honestly. It's very imbalanced. Like, they should have more of a negative multiplier against artillery. Now we see Killer making Kenya, which I don't like. Making Kenya is usually like a clear desperation move. They cost wood, and they're not very good. They're only good for like surprising your opponent with a start army. Most people will assume Ira will make no cav, and as a result, they won't make any anti-cav in their start army. And if you can surprise them with like 50 Kenya, you can get a really good push going. But that's about where their usefulness ends. Oh, I should take care of my coin. Like, transition another 10 vills to plantations. If you fight Euro, you need a lot of coin, because you need to make a lot of corps against Euro to take care of the light cannons. And of course, corps are really heavy on the coin. In addition to that, I'm making Abyss as my main unit, and they're also coin heavy. I feel like I could use some more horses, but I'm winning anyway, so I guess I didn't care. Killa's light cannon massing also seems subpar. He should always have at least 10 light cannons out, and that way I have to pump a ton of cores out to kill those light cannons, and then I just drain on coin and lose the game. He's making them like 5 at a time sometimes. It's really bad, because one Corv beats one light cannon, but light cannons cost 3 pop, whereas Corvs cost 4. So as a result, Euro can mass a lot more, and Killer should be taking advantage of that. You'll notice I'm not making any mortars, because like I said, Otto's army is not very pop efficient. And yeah. My towers. Killer should ask Pi for a mortar here. And again, like, he's making 5 light cannons at a time. And they were all lumped together, so he could just kill them in one shot. Should be careful that they're at least a little bit spread out. Otherwise, they could just die from the area damage. Again, Huron Mantlet should be shoved in front of his army. And again, I really don't like the Kenyas. And I can't believe I didn't do anything about my coin here. 1k coin, and I don't even do anything to macro. Maybe I just didn't notice. I should know better because I'm against Euro. Fighting Euro is a drain on coin because you have to produce a ton of goals. And again, Kilda's really failing at producing a decent mass of light cannons. With fertility dance and multiple groups of and multiple foundries, it should be easy. Should have just pulled that Gulf back after the second one died. Like, I should just pull that Gulf back, which I'm doing right now. Might be too late though. Oh, it's gonna live. Yeah, Kill is definitely not being aggressive enough. The main problem is his Huminkas, but you can also see it with his Forest Prowler positioning. His Forest Prowler should be attack moved, and he should be aggressively moving them forward because Euro can mass a ton of skirms units with it. Because 25 Cherokee are also really good. I was just checking to see if Killer was on Blood Brothers because it seems strange to be at such a score advantage against Euro. And you can see now I can't keep max pop anymore because I'm out of coin. And I should ask my teammate for coin at this point, but I remember I was too proud and I didn't want to ask for any resources. Yeah. Now he has a decent mass of light cannons. Yeah. And again with the Huminkas standing behind his army while I'm spamming houses. And Killer actually moved them forward that time, so forcing you to pull back my Huss. And so now that I'm out of resources, I'm backing off and just sitting behind towers waiting for my coin to come back. Ideally, I would put another 10 vills on coin as well. And yeah, Killer just not keeping a good enough mass up, especially with natives. I think Killer was just out of resources at that point. He's on Blood Brothers, so that means his actual score is about 1,000. Which I'd say is about where Euro drains, I guess. And he has too many musket riders. Like, once you have both natives as Euro, Huminka should be your primary anti-cav unit. And you might make 5 or 10 musket riders to cover flanks, but your primary anti-cav should be through Huminka. And especially in a choke like this, there's no reason to be really making any musket rider at all. He's mixing his Mantlet with his Skirms. Mantlets, their like only purpose is to tank damage. So they should be in front of Forest Prowlers, like shoved into your opponent's army. Killer's not microing his Lycans, so... He's hitting the horse art first, which I don't like. You should kill the corvs first and then come back to the horse art later. And I can't, even though Killer is still low on resources, I can't finish him off because I can't keep max pop either. Because I was low on coin and I didn't ask my teammate for resources. And again with the Kenya. Jesus. It's now Pi is noticing Killer struggling, which makes him decide to send pop. Longbows, I don't know, because Era already has a huge Skirm mass. I think the best support units to make for Eero are Hussar and Mortar. Because usually while fighting Eero, because Eero shouldn't be making cav, so the opponent of Eero won't be making any anti-cav usually. That's why Hussars are a really good unit to support Eero with. And Mortars, of course, because Eero can't make Mortars. You see Eclipse as buildings in the cliffs, which is good. In case the doubling becomes too much and I run into too much trouble, Eclipse can immediately react and send pop to me. Because he built in the cliffs, which is good. So cold. You see a miscommunication. Killer went back while Pi sends his units forward and to like try to push. Yeah, but there's no reason to be going back if your teammate is sending pop to help you. Like, if your teammate is... yeah. Especially considering I couldn't keep max pop because I was out of coin. And not asking my teammate for resources, which is of course a mistake on me. I'm mixing horse artillery, which is good against this forest prowler mass. And I don't think he's moving his forest prowlers forward enough. I've seen this problem all game. So I can just kite back and pick off forest prowlers. His explorer is just standing behind his army, which is good. Killer should be making more light cannons. I cannot stress, like, how bad it is to make light cannons 5 at a time. You should have like 10 or maybe even 15 out at all times. And I'm finally switching more rolls to coin, which I should have done a long time ago. Look how low my pop is because of my coin. That's why if you run out of a resource, you shouldn't be afraid to ask your teammate. Like, I shouldn't be losing position because I'm out of coin when my teammate is probably sitting on at least 30k right now. Yeah. Yeah, because killer should be more aggressive with forest prowls. And here's the nice thing. I can just skip this pause. Yeah. I'm immediately rebuilding towers, which is good. Yeah. Killer's biggest problem this game was with his very weak native spam, his very weak light cannon massing, and he's not being aggressive enough with his scum mass. Like, if you have a huge scum mass like that, it's not much Otto can do. You should be pushing with that. And Husser should just die to Hibinka. Again, the Kenyas. I'm just gonna micro my Hibinkas to those. I don't even need to make any anti-cav because of how badly Hussers beat Kenyas. Pie's mortaring, but it's too late now because I have a push going. And yeah. Look at all these towers. And it looks like Killer was pushing when he didn't have the resources to stay maxed. And he shouldn't do that. He should stay back until he's max pop and then maybe try to push. I don't think Pi should be using longbows as a support unit here, especially when I'm making like 20 hussers. Which I do have to pull back, because Killer actually used his Huminka as well there. That's a very good wall that I made there. It's gonna help condense the fight into an even narrower position, which is good for Otto because of Abyss. And because Killer's native spam is so bad, he can't really be aggressive with forest prowlers. Like, if he were keeping Huminkas out at all time, he'd be able to be pushing his forest prowlers forward. And any huss I make would just die to natives. And I can't keep max pop, but I was looking at scores and I judged that Killer was in a much worse position than I was, which is why I'm pushing even though I can't keep max pop. And you can see I'm inching closer to 200. Because my coin is starting to come back because Killer is having such a hard time keeping max pop himself that my army is not really dying. I was actually aiming my Abyss on his Huminka there. Normally, you can just attack move and get the same or similar result as aiming Abyss on Anikav. But of course, if you have the APM to do it, you should be doing it. And yeah, that's the game. Killer really needed more light cannons and sitting back. Wow. And sitting back as Eero is really bad. Like, you want to always be aggressive with Eero. Otto is a decent MU for Eero, actually, because the Force Prowler mass with Huminkas should just destroy Otto's army. And then any Force Search should just die to the light cannons. You see Killer and Pi arguing. Pi is correct here. He's saying Otto is the best counter versus Eero, but that's not true. He probably thinks that because Abyss can snipe light cannons, but if the light cannons are sufficiently behind a huge scud mass, then the light cannon should be untouchable by Abyss. Okay, I'm gonna end it here.